Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to our weekly places in news. In this session, we are going to cover the important places that were in news over the last 1 week, that is between the 25th of April and the 1st of May. So if you're finding this initiative to be helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let us start with the first place that was in news, which is Indonesia. Last week, Indonesia was in news because the country decided to extend the ban on the export of palm oil. Now, this is a very big development because it affects the Indian economy. You should know that palm oil is a key ingredient for the food processing industry, and Indonesia happens to be the world's largest producer and exporter of palm oil. According to reports, Indonesia produces nearly 60% of the global palm oil supplies. Along with Malaysia, the two countries account for 90% of the global palm oil production. So Indonesia and then Malaysia happen to be the top producers and exporters of palm oil. So now that Indonesia has decided to extend the ban on the export of palm oil, it will directly hit India because India is the world's largest importer of palm oil. Indian food industry and Indian economy in general has a great dependency on palm oil imports from both Indonesia and Malaysia. So this ban is expected to increase the prices of edible oil in India, and it could directly hit the food processing industry. So it becomes important to talk about Indonesia and to understand its location and geography with the help of a question and a relevant map. The question says, which island of Indonesia is located the closest to India? Is it Java or Sulawesi or Sumatra or Bali? To answer the question, let us take a map and understand where exactly is Indonesia located. See, Indonesia is located between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It is a Southeast Asian country and it is located right at the heart of the Indo-Pacific region. Indonesia happens to be an island country. In fact, it is the world's largest island country. It is made up of nearly 17,000 islands, and some of them can be seen in the map over here. So the question is asking which of these islands is located the closest to India. The correct answer would be Sumatra. The island of Sumatra that you can see in the map over here is located the closest to India, that is to the Andaman Nicobar Islands in the Andaman Sea. In fact, India and Indonesia even share a maritime boundary line over here, and I'm going to show you that in the next map. But now, let us focus on the other important islands, the important seas and straits that are located in this region. Apart from Sumatra, the other major islands of Indonesia include Java over here. It's one of the most populated islands in the world. Then you have Bali over here, the popular tourist destination. Then we have Borneo over here, which is known for its tropical rainforests and its rich biodiversity. Borneo is shared between Indonesia and Malaysia and Brunei. The other major islands include Sulawesi, Lesser Sunda Islands, New Guinea, which is located next to Papua New Guinea and to the north of Australia. So these are some major islands of Indonesia. The important seas that are located over here include the Java Sea, the Bali Sea, the Banda Sea over here, and you should also note the positions of the Sawu Sea, the Seram Sea, the Timur Sea over here, Arafura Sea, then Molucca Sea over here, Celebes Sea, the Sulu Sea near Philippines, and the South China Sea. These are some important geographical locations that you should be familiar with. Then talking about the important straits that are located in the region, we have the Strait of Malacca over here, which is a strategic choke point that is located between Indonesia and Singapore. Then we have the Sunda Strait over here between Sumatra and Java, and we have the Lombok Strait over here near Bali. Apart from this, we have the Makassar Strait over here, sandwiched between Borneo, that is Kalimantan of Indonesia, and Sulawesi. These straits are important for shipping and navigation in the region. Then finally, the last 2 points that I would like to highlight is the island of Biak, located over here, where ISRO, that is the Indian Space Research Organization, has set up a telemetry tracking station to track the launch of Indian rockets and satellites from Sriharikota. Apart from this, you should be familiar with the International Maritime Boundary Line between India and Indonesia, that is located between the Sumatran island and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Please note that Indonesia is sitting on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is very vulnerable to earthquakes and volcanoes. So Indonesia witnesses a lot of disasters. Sumatra especially is hit by frequent earthquakes. One such underwater earthquake in 2004 caused a devastating tsunami in the region, which not only hit Indonesia but also caused extensive damage in the Andaman Nicobar Islands and as well as along the east coast of India. So this is one more reason why the proximity of Indonesia to India is important. Then finally, at the northern tip of Sumatra over here, there is a strategic port known as the Sabang port. This port is situated at the opening to the Strait of Malacca, and this military facility of Indonesia has been made accessible to the Indian Navy. India has procured logistical access to the Sabang port of Indonesia, and this extends the operational reach of the Indian Navy, especially near the strategic Strait of Malacca. Now moving to the second topic, let's talk about East Europe. East Europe was in news because last week Russia decided to cut off gas supplies to two important East European countries, that is Poland and Bulgaria. So let's understand the geography of the region with the help of a question and a map. The question says, which of the following countries in East Europe share a border with Russia? Is it Poland or Hungary or Bulgaria or Romania? So to answer this question, let's take the help of a relevant map. Here, you're looking at Eastern Europe, you're looking at Europe's dependency on Russia for oil and gas, and we can clearly point out that Poland is the only country amongst the given options which share a boundary with Russia. Why Poland? That's because Russia has an enclave known as Kaliningrad over here in East Europe that shares a boundary with Poland and as well as with Lithuania, which is a Baltic state. This enclave of Russia faces the Baltic Sea and it shares a boundary with Poland. So amongst the given options, Poland is the only country that shares a border with Russia. So the correct answer would be option A, one only. As you saw in the map, the other three countries given here, Hungary, Bulgaria and Romania, they don't share any borders with Russia. See, Romania is located over here, this is Bulgaria and this is Hungary. And you also have Slovakia and Greece over here. So none of these countries in East Europe share boundaries with Russia. This region is very much in news because of the Russia-Ukraine war. So you need to be familiar with important locations and important geographical aspects of the region. So the countries that share a boundary with Russia in Eastern Europe region include Ukraine, there is Belarus over here, then we have the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. You also have Finland over here, and even Norway shares a small boundary with Russia in the Arctic region. Apart from them, it is Poland which shares a border with the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. So Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria, they don't share direct boundaries with Russia. The map is also showing Europe's critical dependency on Russian oil and gas supplies. If you look at other European countries in Central and Western Europe, even they have a great dependency on Russian oil and gas. So Russia cutting off supplies to these countries is going to have an impact on the energy security of Europe and as well as on the stability of the European economy. So that's the reason why the geography of East Europe and the countries that share boundaries with Russia become important, especially for your prelims. Now, let's move on to the next topic, the third topic, under which we are going to talk about the Western disturbances. This geographical phenomena is in news because of the deadly heat wave conditions that are being reported across the country. There have been several reports that unprecedented heat wave conditions are being witnessed in India, and especially in northern India and northwestern India, there has been no relief from any rain because of the absence of western disturbances. Western disturbances is a weather phenomena which is supposed to bring some pre-monsoon rainfall, especially to northwestern India. So let's understand more about this and where it originates from by taking a question and a map. Western disturbances that bring winter and pre-monsoon rainfall to northwest India picks up moisture from which water body? Is it from Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea or the Caspian Sea? To answer the question, first you need to know what exactly is this geographical phenomena known as Western Disturbances. See, Western Disturbances refers to a type of extratropical storm that originates over the Mediterranean Sea that is located between Europe and Africa. This weather phenomena originates over here. It's an extratropical storm. It originates in the Mediterranean Sea and starts moving eastwards. As it moves eastwards, it starts picking up moisture over the Black Sea and as well as over the Caspian Sea. So essentially, Western Disturbances, they pick moisture from Mediterranean Sea, from the Black Sea and as well as from the Caspian Sea. Following this, these Western Disturbances, they move eastwards over Iraq, Iran and as well as over Afghanistan and Pakistan, and they finally reach India, that is the northwestern part of India, and they are known to bring winter rainfall to northern and northwestern parts of India. This rainfall brought during the winter season is very crucial for the Rabi crop, especially in states like Punjab and Haryana. It is critical for the wheat crop in particular. During the summer season, as the summer season would have set, just before the monsoon starts, Western Disturbances also bring some rainfall which helps in moderating the temperatures and in arresting the heat wave conditions. But this year, Western Disturbances have been absent largely in the northern and northwestern part of India, and it hasn't brought much rainfall, and as a result, heat wave conditions in northern northwestern India has aggravated. That is why Western Disturbances was in news, and you should know where it originates and where it picks moisture from. So please note, it originates in the Mediterranean Sea, picks moisture from Mediterranean, Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. All the three are correct. So the right answer would be option D, 1, 2 and 3. With this, let's move on to the next topic, under which we are going to talk about the hydroelectric power projects in Jammu and Kashmir. This topic is very important and it is in news because last week Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid an important visit to Jammu and Kashmir and he laid the foundation for two important hydropower projects. So in this context, let's talk about the major rivers of J&K and as well as the important hydropower projects of Jammu and Kashmir. The question says, which of the following are correctly matched? On the left, we have a list of hydropower projects. On the right, we have the corresponding rivers. So we need to check whether they have been correctly matched or not. First, we have the Ratle hydropower project matched with Tavi River, Kwar hydropower project matched with Jhelum River, Baglihar hydropower project matched with the Ravi. So let's see whether these pairs are correctly matched or not. See, this topic is related to the Indus River Basin and of course the Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan. The Indus Water Treaty was signed in the year 1960 between the two countries to share the Indus waters, and this was mediated by the World Bank. This important treaty provides for the sharing of the Indus waters. See, the Indus River Basin, the Indus Drainage Basin, is made up of 6 major rivers. This includes the Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. The Indus Water Treaty divides the Indus River Basin into the western rivers and the eastern rivers. The western rivers include Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Please note down this point. And the eastern rivers include Ravi, Beas and Satluj. According to the treaty, Pakistan has greater control and a greater set of rights over the western rivers. India's rights over western rivers such as Indus, Jhelum and Chenab has been limited. India can take up run-of-the-mill projects which does not divert the flow of the river or which doesn't affect the flow of water into Pakistan. So run-of-the-mill projects such as hydropower projects can be taken up by India, and India can make limited usage of these waters for drinking, irrigation, etc. But a large share of Indus, Jhelum and Chenab has been allotted for Pakistan. Whereas the eastern rivers are largely under Indian control, India has largely exclusive rights over them, and these rivers are the lifeline of Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh and the other states present in this region. So India can build any kind of project it wants over the Ravi, Beas and the Satluj. So this is about the Indus River Basin and the Indus River Treaty. So now let's talk about the important hydropower projects in Jammu and Kashmir and also understand how the treaty affects the relations between India and Pakistan. See, Pakistan every now and then keeps accusing India of breaching the treaty. It keeps making accusations that India comes up with dam projects on these rivers, especially on the western rivers, that affects the rights of Pakistan. So in this regard, there are many projects in Jammu and Kashmir which are in news, and you should know on which rivers they are located, and you should also know the location, the approximate location of these important dam projects. For example, many of you would have heard about the Baglihar Dam project. This is where it is located. It is located on the Chenab River, and it's always in news because Pakistan has contested this dam at the International Court of Justice. It has taken India to the International Court of Justice over the Baglihar project and even over another project known as the Kishan Ganga. So by taking these cases to the ICJ, Pakistan has challenged these Indian projects and has blamed India for violating the Indus Water Treaty. But the rulings of the ICJ have largely gone in India's favor, and India has always ensured that it stays committed to the Indus Water Treaty. So clearly the Baglihar Dam project and the hydropower project is located on the Chenab River, and this is the approximate location of the project. Now, I'm going to show you a table and a few other maps which will help you understand the other important rivers and hydropower projects of J&K. Baglihar was on the Chenab, we already saw that. Next, we have the Chenani hydropower projects on the Tavi River in Jammu region. Next, we have the Dulahasti hydropower project again on the Chenab. Next, there is Kishan Ganga hydropower project on the Kishan Ganga River, and the location is approximately over here. The Kishan Ganga is one of the tributaries of the Jhelum. It crosses over into Pakistan and then joins the Jhelum, which is known as the Neelam River in Pakistan. Apart from this, the important projects include Ranjit Sagar Dam project on the Ravi River, the Salal project again on the Chenab River, which you can see in the map over here. Then there is the Seva hydropower projects on the Seva River and the Ravi River. Next, we have the Sindh and the Uri projects, and Uri 1 and 2, they have been built on the Jhelum River, and you can see them in the map over here. Then also make a note of the new proposed dam projects and hydropower projects in J&K. This includes the Pakal Dul hydropower project over here, which is coming up on the Chenab River. And apart from this, there are two major projects in news, which includes the Ratle project over here on the Chenab again, and the Kwar hydropower project that you see over here, which is also being built on the Chenab. Now, I'm specifically pointing out the Ratle hydropower project and the Kwar project, which are coming up on the Chenab River, because recently Prime Minister Modi travelled to Jammu and Kashmir and he laid the foundation stone for these projects. So that is why these dam projects have been picked for the question. Now, coming back to the question, we can clearly say that the right answer would be option D, none of the above, because Ratle, Kwar and Baglihar, all these projects are coming up on the Chenab River. So all of them have been incorrectly matched. So option D is your right answer. So this concludes our discussion on the places that were in news over the last 1 week. I hope the session was helpful, and don't forget to let us know by liking the video, by sharing the video with fellow aspirants, and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.